Hi everyone, welcome to ICT in Education tutorial lesson. Your instructors for the day are myself, Abigail Nkansa, and
Joseph Osum.
Good. Today our lesson is iSpring Quizmaker. By the end of this lesson, students are expected to know and understand iSpring Quizmaker, create quizzes with iSpring Quizmaker, and also publish content and evaluate learners on iSpring Quizmaker. iSpring Quizmaker is one of the products of iSpring Suite. Talking about iSpring Suite, iSpring Suite is a rapid learning authoring toolkit produced by iSpring for developing professional e-learning courses in PowerPoint, embedded with quizzes, surveys, and interactions. iSpring Suite allows one to create educational materials in Flash and HTML, that is hypertext markup language, which play perfectly well on any device. iSpring Suite consists of 3 products. That is iSpring Pro, which is basically for PowerPoint authoring tool. It also have iSpring Kinetics, that is for interaction building, and also iSpring Quizmaker. That is where our lesson will be based on for today. iSpring Quizmaker is a desktop practical tool used to design quizzes with drag and drop questions, audio, video, and equations. So iSpring Quizmaker helps instructors to assess their students with the use of electronic devices. Some of the advantages or benefits of choosing iSpring Quizmaker over the other quiz makers, such as Secretive, That's Quiz, Cool Everywhere, Quibble, ProProfs, Quizinator, Classmaker, Quizstar, just to mention a few, are that with iSpring Quizmaker, one can easily make interactive quizzes that can be published to SCORM, that is shareable content object reference mode, and HTML, that is hypertext markup language format. Thus, the quiz can be made compatible to all devices such as laptops, iPads, and other mobile devices. Again, iSpring Quizmaker gives users the opportunity to use 23 different types of question formats, such as the multiple choice, the fill-in, true or false, matching types. It's also possible to customize the appearance of a quiz as well as record and insert audio and video files, images, and formulas. Another advantage of using iSpring Quizmaker is that it is flexible scoring system that allows teachers to make easy evaluation of students' knowledge. And also, students get instant feedback of their performance after embarking on a quiz. Notwithstanding, there are some downsides using iSpring Quizmaker. Since the quiz is done through electronic means or by using electronic mediums, it will become difficult for one to undertake it when there is power failure or power outage. So now, join us as Mr. Osum takes us through the practical aspects of iSpring Quizmaker. Let us go and learn how to create quizzes using iSpring Quizmaker and how students are also going to answer the questions on iSpring Quizmaker. Thank you.
Hi. So just as my colleague just said, we are going to take you through how to create interactive quizzes with the Quizmaker. It's a very simple yet powerful tool for building interactive quizzes and surveys for e-learning courses. In the next video, myself and Abigail will take you through the steps you need in order to build interactive quizzes and surveys for e-learning courses. to begin our lesson for the day, we will start by installing our iSpring Quizmaker, which I guess you've done by now. To launch the application, you can either do so from the icon on your desktop, this orange icon, or better still, you can pick it from the PowerPoint. Once you install iSpring Suite, it simply adds a tab to the PowerPoint ribbon and provides all the powerful tools you need to create your courses, quizzes, and interactions. So, without wasting much time, we would want to start creating our quizzes. As you can see, there are a whole lot of menus and items on the ribbon. So we would want to choose launch our application from the desktop. We are greeted by the iSpring Quizmaker quick start screen, and on the screen we can find create a new graded quiz if you want to start from scratch. You can also create a new survey quiz if you want to create a survey from scratch. Otherwise, you would have to import from an already created quiz, or you can open an existing quiz you've created already. For the other menus, the online help assists you to get help to do other stuff, and then the community help, and then product support and all that. So we are starting to build our quizzes from scratch, so we would create a new graded quiz. So as you can see, this is the opening page of the iSpring Quizmaker. We can see on the left hand side we have the main menu, under which we have the publish icon, where you have the option to publish to different formats, whether you want to publish onto a website, whether you want to save for mobile devices, and whether you want to publish for other learning management systems. You also have the preview icon, which also allows you to preview the quiz before you publish them. The settings also allows you to make adjustments and customizations to your quiz. So let's take a look at how the settings menu works. This is the settings menu. The settings has a main menu, and under the main menu and of the settings you have the title of the quiz. So for the purpose of our study, let's enter current affairs as the title of our quiz, and then how much marks does a student have to obtain before passing. So you set the passing score here, 40% in this case, and then normalized score to 100 means out of 100, if you score 40 means you've passed. Okay, you can also set the limit to which students have time, the limit of time they have to complete the work. In our case, let's say 5 minutes. Yes, 5 minutes is okay. You can also instruct the Quizmaker to display the remaining time when one is taking a quiz. So at the top right hand corner you see the time remaining for you to submit the work. You can choose to display the elapsed time rather, but for the purpose of our work we will choose the remaining time instead. If you want to send content by email to your users, you can ask for their email and name here. This portion also displays a cumulative score with each question, the feedback you get after you've submitted your quiz. It displays each point you've acquired by answering to a particular question, and then this option also allows a user to interrupt the quiz. The navigation menu also has other options which you can customize. The presets ask you to select from whether you want to submit one question at a time or you want to finish the whole quiz and then submit. Then in that case you choose the submit all at once. You can randomize question order. If you select this option, the Quizmaker automatically randomizes the question orders for you. And then, just as the navigation menu, the presets menu said, you can submit one question at a time, you can submit all at a time, you can allow users to finish without answering all questions. Then you can display question list, you can display resources, you can display correct and incorrect icons, you can display points. These are all settings that you customize according to your needs. This is for the awarding of marks per question. The default is 10 marks per question, and then you can set the number of attempts a student has per question. You can shuffle the answers. You can also allow users to skip survey questions here. Allow partial answers option also helps the student to get part of the marks in the case where there are more than one correct answer. When an answer is correct, the feedback the student gets on the screen is correct. You can customize it into whichever way you feel comfortable with, and when the answer is wrong, the person gets an incorrect display on the screen. When an answer is partially correct, that is if the person gets part of the marks or part of the answers correct, not all, the screen displays a partially correct. And then let's go to the results menu. This also displays the results. I mean, if the student passes, he gets an A+, and these are the responses he gets. Congratulations, you've passed. Yes. And then you get to choose whether you want to enable a review of quiz where the students can go back and check which answers he had correct and which ones he had wrong. You can also choose to display the user score. You can choose to display the pass and score. You can allow users to print their own results. That is it. And then there's also an option to allow users to send quiz result to a particular email. So if I want my students to automatically get results of the quizzes they've taken on their mobile devices, I take their emails and then you put your email here, so that after they've done it, it automatically sends the result to my email for assessment. If I want to send to a server, I need to type in the server name and the location here. If it's a URL, I need to type the URL here. So in this case, I'm not going to use any of them, so I deselect them. You can customize the look, as in the theme of the quiz area. You can change the colors to any one you want and then preview them to see how it looks, but by default it's set to light blue. Okay, so after making changes, you save your changes so it takes effect. Okay, so we don't want to waste much time. We want to start our questions. For the purpose of our study, we are going to try most of the question options. We are going to put together a number of 10 questions using any of the formats here. So we start our question, the first one, with the true or false question, Let's find an example of a true or false question. Let's say Asamoah Gyan is the captain of the Black Stars. Down here in the answer pane, you have the true and the false options. So beside each of them you have a radio button. You select which one you feel is the right answer. So in this case it's true, so you select true. Below there is an option tab, and by default the options are set to attempt one attempt per question. And then if you want to make changes to this, you need to decheck the checkbox. It awards 10 points per correct answer. If you want to make changes to those marks, you can also do that in this panel. You can shuffle answers if you want to. That is when you have multiple question answers. So let's look for our second question. Let's try the multiple choice question. Who is the president of Ghana? And then if you check in the answer palette, you see there are two alternatives here, alternative 1, alternative 2. For the purpose of our stage, you would want to add more choices, so you click on the add choice to add more alternatives. We want to limit ourselves to 4 alternatives per this question, and then we need to key in the correct answers. So John Kufuor becomes the first option, John Mahama becomes the second option, John Dumelu third option, John Rawlings becomes the fourth option. Once again, you need to select the correct one. In this case it's John Mahama, so I click on the radio button beside John Mahama to indicate that this is the correct answer. I'll leave the options at the default because I want to be consistent with all the questions. So we go to our third question. Type in question. For example, fufu is a staple food for Ashantis of Ghana, whereas now we need to provide space where the typing will okay. So we create a space, whereas dash is the staple or is the favorite food of the Accra people. We need to provide the correct answer. In this case the answer is Kenke, so we key in our correct answer. You can add more answers where there are more than one correct answers. Once again, we leave our options at default. Let's try the matching options and see how that one also works. Match the following European countries with their capitals and their premises and their responses. You have the option to add images to each of the responses and the questions as well. So we have 2 alternatives here, but for this case we are going to add 2 more and then create our premise. Let's add Germany and then create the response Bonn. Let's add Belgium and then the response is Antwerp. For this one there are more than one correct answers, so we would want to be fair to the students and let them have part of the questions and part of the answers. We would want to be fair to the students and let them have part of the mark if they get part of the question correct. So we wouldn't want to go by the default. We are going to allow partial answers. In that case, if a person has 3 out of 4, he is awarded part of the 10 points for his effort. Okay, so let's look for question number 5. Sequence. Let's try a sample question. Arrange the following adjectives in the correct order, and then bad, worst, this is the correct order. Once again, we are going to allow partial answers. If the person is able to get 2 of the arrangements right, I mean, he should get part of the marks for his effort. So we decheck the default and then allow partial answers. Let's move on to our next question. Fill in the blank. Mr. Nobody is a mischievous, and then we leave our blank space and then provide the answer in the space provided. Mischievous man, that is our answer. There's only one answer to this question, so we wouldn't want to disturb the default options and allow any partial answers because there's only one answer. So we move on to our next question. Let's try the word bank and see how that one works. We already have a sample here. A fat cat eats a small bird. Let's add one more. Hen is 2, and then we create space or a placeholder for the answer. Hen is 2 female. As cock is 2, we create another placeholder for the correct answer, male. Once again, we can allow partial answers if a student scores part of the correct answer. Okay, we have 3 more questions to go. Let's try another of the multiple choice questions. Jesus was a, and then we'll add 2 more choices here. Alternative 1, Jew. King of the Jews. Imam of Tamale. Black man. Sultan of Brunei. These are all sample questions, so we don't want to take them seriously. Yes, so we once again select the correct answer by clicking on the radio button beside the answer we feel is the correct one. Okay, so we move to our 9th question, which is, let's try another. Type in the capital of Argentina is, and then for our correct answer we have Buenos Aires. And then let's try our last question and see. Let's try the sequence again, where you just have the options to arrange them in the correct order. arrange these presidents of Ghana in the right sequence. The first one, Kwame Nkrumah. Dr. Hila Liman, and then Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlins. We can add one more answer, John Kufuor, and then another, John Dramani Mahama. So we have 5 answers for them to arrange in the right sequence or right order. Once again, we would want to decheck the default options and allow users to get partial marks for parts of the correct answer. That is our last question. So let's save our quiz. Current affairs quiz is already set as default file name. Let's save it. We are good to go. For the purpose of our demonstration, we want to preview and see how the arrangements go. So we click on the preview button under the main menu. So we click on the preview button under the main menu and wait. It can take quite some time for it to generate the preview. Yes, but it's ready. Let's maximize our preview screen and see. We have all our questions here, so you can navigate through the questions using the right arrow to see whether there is no typographical error or the answers are in the right order. Okay, so we are done. At the right hand corner, you see the time has already started ticking because we set the limit to 5 minutes. It started running already, but we are not answering the question, so we've already saved our quiz. Let's try and put ourselves in the situation of the students and try and answer the questions. So we go to our preview and then we try answering them and see the kind of feedback we get based on the settings we did. So the first question, our clock is already ticking. A fat cat eats a small bird. We drag and drop the answers into the spaces provided. Hen is to male as hen is to female as cock is to male. Arrange the following adjectives in the correct order. Bad, west. Answer. The moment you press the answer button, you get an instant feedback whether you've scored or not. In this case, it's a correct answer, so I'm getting a feedback for my correct answer. Let me do same for the first question. Answer. That is also correct. Question number 3. Mr. Nobody is a mischievous man. So I press my answer button. John Kufuor. Arrange the presidents of Ghana in the right sequence. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah comes first, so you drag and drop them up. And then Dr. Hila Liman comes. And then Cherry John comes, John Kufuor, and then John Dramani. answer, it's also correct. Let's intentionally get an answer wrong and see the kind of feedback we get. Fufu is a staple food for Ashantis of Ghana, whereas dash is the favorite food of, there's a typo here, of the Accra people. We know the correct answer to be kinky. That is what we set in the parameters. But for the purpose of our demonstration, we would want to get a wrong answer and see the kind of feedback we get. So let's say Banku, and then submit our answer. Voila, we are getting an incorrect response because our answer is wrong. That is how we set it. Answer Mojan is the captain of the Black Stars. It's true. Answer correct. Match the following European countries with their capitals. Bonn is for Germany. You drag and drop. London is for Great Britain. Paris is for France. Antwerp is for Belgium. So we submit our answers and we get it correct. Question number 8. Jesus was a king of the Jews. We submit our answer. It's correct. And the last question, last but one, who's the president of Ghana? John Mahama. Is the answer correct? The capital of Argentina is Buenos Aires. We submit our answer, it's also correct. Congratulations, you've passed. This is the instant feedback we are getting on the quiz we just took. You have the option to print your results. You have other options to review your quiz to see which answers you had correct or wrong. Let's click the review button and see what happens. We had this correct. We can use the right arrow to navigate through. So the Quizmaker is displaying the correct answer to the question number 5, which we had wrong. So it's pretty much easy to set questions and take quizzes. Let's go back to feedback. Sorry, let's go back to our results page. Because we set the settings to display the total number of questions, the total score, the score and the percentage of the score, the passing score, which we set to 40%, and then the duration which we took to take the quiz. Remember, we set the time to 5 minutes, but here's the case, we're using 3 minutes 24 seconds, and that is very commendable. We have the options to print your results. So it's pretty much easy to do, and I know you can and will do just that. Now let's take a quick look at the survey option. We wouldn't want to spend much time here. The survey menu is also very good in setting questions for surveys in research. It can be a very important tool for questionnaires. So clicking on the drop down arrow, we see a number of options you have in which you can set your questions. You have the Likert scale, where users are able to rate their answers from bad, normal, or good, or any other parameters you want to set. We have simple yes or no answers, where users choose one of them. We have pick one, where users also have the option to choose one, and then pick many. And then you have the short answer format. You have the numeric format, where users need to answer by entering a numeric value. You have the ranking, just like the sequence. You rank in order of importance, and then you have the matching, just like the word matching, where you drag and drop to the corresponding words. You have which word, also you drag and drop. you have filled in the blank where users have the options to type in the correct answers or what they feel. And then you have the multiple choice text, and lastly we have the essay. This one creates a space for users to type in the answer. I mean, they can discuss, they can define, and they can talk about their experiences in the essay format. So it's also quite pretty much easy to use to collect data when undertaking a research or survey. So now we are done creating our quiz. We know how to look for feedback after taking the quizzes. Now we know how to assemble now we are done creating our quizzes, and we've tried and seen how the interface looks like after we take the quiz. Now let's see if we can publish this quiz. So we look for the publish button. We have a number of options here. So you click the web if you have your own website or a blog where you would want to publish the quiz, and then you can also click the LMS or the learning management system where you're able to publish in the SCORN compatible format. You can also export your quiz as a Word document, and then you look for the file location to save it. So afterwards you can click the publish and see how it looks like. Here, so our quiz is ready. We selected the Word document option, so it's saved it under the name current affairs into a folder on the document, so we can quickly access our quiz here. Yes, in a Word format, Microsoft Word format. So it's quite easy to do and very effective way of creating quizzes. I hope you had a good lecture. I hope you know your way around the interface of the iSpring Quizmaker. I hope you know which tools to use to help you create highly interactive quizzes. I hope by now you can assemble different question formats and put them together for quizzes.